Hello, everyone. Today, I'm sharing some incredibly important information that could genuinely change your life. We're talking about 5 health screenings you should absolutely avoid after the age of 70. But before we dive in, if you care about living a long, healthy, and independent life, I need a quick favor. Tap that like button right now. Every single like helps this video reach more seniors who desperately need to hear this. Subscribe to Golden Age Glow and hit that notification bell. We release new videos every week to help you live your most vibrant life. Your one tap could save someone from an unnecessary surgery. Like, subscribe, and let's get started. Here's a terrifying secret your doctor will never tell you. Every year, millions of seniors get routine screenings thinking they're being responsible. But the horrifying truth is, the very tests your doctor says you need could be pushing you toward the operating table, increasing your risk of stroke, and may even be creating brand new cancers inside your body. This is all backed by science. Research reveals that 37% of medical tests performed on seniors lead to unnecessary treatments, serious complications, and lifelong side effects. And the most frightening part? 99% of people over 70 have absolutely no idea they're being over-tested. The number one test on today's list causes up to 5% of all cancers in America, as dangerous as daily alcohol. Hospitals won't tell you. It's an inconvenient truth for those who profit from your fear. Today, I'm revealing everything. Real stories, real science. When you hear about number 2, you'll be shaken, because you've almost certainly had it done. Before we begin, drop a comment with your age, location, and whether you've ever regretted a medical test. I read every comment and reply personally. All right, let's begin with the first dangerous screening. Number 5, bone density testing. This seems completely harmless, a quick, painless scan that tells you if your bones are fracture-prone. Millions of seniors take this test every year, just for peace of mind. But after 70, this test often causes far more harm than good. The DEXA scan measures bone strength, but in older adults, especially women, it almost always shows alarming results, even when there's no danger. Declining bone density is natural aging, like gray hair. It happens to everyone. But the medical system treats this as disease and pushes medication. That's where the nightmare begins. Seniors are pressured into bisphosphonates, sold as bone-strengthening miracles. The reality? Osteonecrosis of the jaw, where the jawbone literally dies. Severe esophageal inflammation. Every swallow feels like fire. And most ironically, these drugs can make bones more brittle, causing bizarre fractures. A landmark study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, bisphosphonates reduced fracture risk by only 0.3% over 5 years, essentially zero. But side effect risk was 30 times higher. Mrs. Tanaka, a 76-year-old retired piano teacher, had never fallen. She walked daily, played with grandchildren, and lived a vibrant life full of music. But during a routine checkup, her doctor strongly recommended a bone density test. Result? Osteopenia, mild density loss needing no treatment. But her doctor prescribed alendronate immediately. Without this, you'll fracture your hip and end up bedridden. Terrified, she started the medication. Within weeks, severe acid reflux and excruciating jaw pain. Every meal was agony. She couldn't play piano. Her life's greatest joy was stolen. We stopped the medication. Vitamin D, resistance bands, calcium-rich foods. After 1 year, Mrs. Tanaka was playing piano again. Stronger legs, better balance, 0 fractures. A 2022 study confirmed exercise and nutrition reduce fractures by over 20%, 60 times more effective than drugs. If you're over 70 with no fall history, lifestyle changes beat medication every time. But the next test is even more terrifying. It can actually lead to unnecessary brain surgery. That frightening story is coming right now. Number 4. Brain MRI for memory concerns. When seniors experience mild forgetfulness, fear sets in. Dementia? Alzheimer's? A doctor says, let's get a brain MRI just to be safe. Sounds reasonable, but brain MRIs almost never give the answers patients seek. In people over 70, they nearly always show changes, mild shrinkage, white matter spots, that are normal aging. But these get labeled abnormalities, triggering more tests, specialist referrals, and sometimes lumbar punctures and brain biopsies that don't improve memory and often make things worse. A 2021 neurology study, 86% of patients aged 70 to 85 with mild memory complaints showed MRI abnormalities, but only 3% had a treatable condition. 97% were terrified for nothing. Nearly 12% underwent dangerous, invasive procedures based on meaningless results. Mr. Yamada, a 74-year-old retired engineer, had been misplacing keys more often and occasionally blanking on names. Perfectly normal aging. His doctor recommended an MRI. Small white matter changes were found, entirely normal for 74. But the doctor gravely announced, there are abnormalities in your brain. Mr. Yamada's world collapsed. He surrendered his license, stopped church, cut off friends. Months of despair followed. Thorough cognitive testing revealed perfectly normal scores. Memory, judgment, problem-solving, all healthy. We told him the truth, then focused on sleep, hydration, and brain games. Within weeks, he was driving again, back at church, reconnecting with friends. If I'd never had that MRI, he said, I wouldn't have suffered for months. Unless you have serious symptoms, seizures, personality changes, rapid decline, an MRI for forgetfulness is useless. A simple cognitive screening test is far better. Number 3. Cardiac stress testing. This is one of modern medicine's most cleverly designed, profit-driven traps. Mild fatigue, slight chest tightness, not feeling as energetic as you used to. These everyday complaints most commonly trigger cardiac stress testing in seniors. The test monitors your heart while you walk on a treadmill or receive drugs that simulate exercise, looking for blocked arteries. Let's check your heart health. Who in the world would say no to that? But after 70, for people without clear heart disease symptoms, this test causes far more harm than benefit. The false positive rate reaches a shocking 40% in adults over 70, meaning 4 out of every 10 completely healthy people are told something is wrong with their heart. This false alarm triggers a dangerous domino effect: cardiac catheterization, a tube threaded through blood vessels into your heart, followed by unnecessary stent placement, and sometimes even open-heart bypass surgery. All completely needless from the very beginning. A major 2017 study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology revealed something devastating. More than half of all stents placed based on stress test results were implanted in patients with no symptoms, who received zero benefit whatsoever. No improvement in survival, no improvement in quality of life, but dramatically higher rates of bleeding complications, severe kidney damage from contrast dye, dangerous infections, and extended hospital stays. The treatment was literally more dangerous than the disease it was supposed to address. Let me tell you about Mr. Sato, a 75-year-old retired postal worker. After retirement, he walked 2 hours every single day and lived an incredibly healthy, active life. But during a routine checkup, he casually mentioned that he'd been getting slightly tired on hills lately. His doctor said, let's check your heart just to be safe, and scheduled a stress test. Mr. Sato happily agreed. He thought he was being responsible, but the results came back vague and inconclusive. Still, the doctor pushed forward with cardiac catheterization. Mild arterial narrowing was found, completely normal for a 75-year-old, nothing more than routine aging. But the doctor recommended a stent. The stent was placed. That night, the nightmare began. Mr. Sato developed a severe allergic reaction to the contrast dye, causing devastating kidney damage. His blood pressure swung wildly, and he nearly lost consciousness. Emergency treatment was required, followed by 6 agonizing days in intensive care. Even after discharge, his kidneys never fully recovered, requiring regular medical treatment for the rest of his life. And here's the cruelest irony of all. The slight hill fatigue that started everything never improved, because it was never a heart problem in the first place. It was simple dehydration and not resting properly after meals. A glass of water and a 30-minute post-meal break would have solved everything. Instead, Mr. Sato now lives with permanent consequences from a surgery he never needed. Experts now agree. For people over 70 without classic cardiac symptoms, significant breathlessness during activity, marked energy loss during light exercise, stress testing does more harm than good. Safer alternatives include a resting EKG or a coronary artery calcium scan. Number 2. Colonoscopy. Millions of people believe colonoscopy saves lives through early cancer detection. But after 70, and especially after 75, this procedure becomes extremely dangerous. The risks don't just increase with age, they skyrocket. The danger begins even before the procedure. The powerful bowel preparation laxatives are brutally harsh on elderly bodies. Severe dehydration, dizziness, dramatic blood pressure changes, and serious kidney strain. Many elderly patients are rushed to emergency rooms from the preparation alone before the camera ever enters their body. Then comes sedation. Older brains are far more sensitive to anesthetic drugs. Cognitive decline, delirium, and prolonged confusion lasting days or even weeks are well-documented risks. You could walk into a hospital with a perfectly sharp mind and walk out with your cognitive abilities permanently diminished. And the most terrifying risks come from the procedure itself. Bowel perforation, a hole torn through the intestinal wall, massive bleeding, dangerous infections, and life-threatening cardiac rhythm disturbances or respiratory arrest during sedation. These are not rare events in elderly patients. A landmark 2019 study in the Annals of Internal Medicine tracked over 1.3 million Medicare patients and delivered a devastating verdict. For every 1,000 screening colonoscopies in patients 75 and older, approximately 2 lives were saved. But more than 20 patients experienced serious, sometimes life-threatening complications. That's a 10-to-1 harm-to-benefit ratio. For every 1 person saved, 10 suffered significant injury. The numbers are absolutely damning. There's another deeply troubling issue. When polyps are found during colonoscopy, they're almost always removed, regardless of whether they pose any actual threat. In elderly patients, most polyps are tiny, slow-growing, and extremely unlikely to ever cause problems during the patient's remaining years. But once spotted, removal is automatic. And those removal procedures frequently cause devastating complications. Mrs. Tamada was a 73-year-old grandmother who ran a small bakery with her daughter. She worked with infectious energy every single day. 0 symptoms. No blood in her stool, no changes in bowel habits, and absolutely no family history of colon cancer. She was completely and perfectly healthy. But her newly assigned young doctor enthusiastically pushed for a colonoscopy. For prevention, for early detection, for your peace of mind. Mrs. Tamura trusted her doctor and agreed, believing it was the responsible thing to do. That decision would change her life forever. During the procedure, a tiny 5 mm polyp was found, extremely common in older adults and almost always completely harmless. The doctor removed it, just to be safe. Mrs. Tamura went home thinking everything was fine. That night at 2 a.m., she was struck by agonizing abdominal pain that grew worse and worse until she lost consciousness. Her daughter called an ambulance. At the hospital, CT scans revealed bowel perforation. The polyp removal had torn a hole through her intestinal wall. Emergency surgery was performed. Mrs. Tamura spent 9 harrowing days in intensive care, hovering between life and death. She survived, but lost 22 pounds and enormous muscle mass. She never recovered her former vitality. She could no longer work at the bakery, the place that had given her life meaning, purpose, and joy for decades. Everything was taken from her by a procedure she never needed. When we reviewed her case, we discovered something that made the tragedy even worse. She had already undergone 2 previous colonoscopies, both completely clean. There was absolutely no medical indication for a third one. An overzealous young doctor's recommendation had caused irreversible devastation. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force now officially recommends stopping routine colonoscopy screening at age 75 for most people. For those who still want monitoring, the FIT test, a simple at-home stool-based screening, is a far safer alternative. No preparation, no sedation, no perforation risk. It detects the vast majority of concerning cancers while keeping patients safely away from the dangerous procedural pipeline. Always ask your doctor about alternatives, because once you enter the colonoscopy pipeline, it's extremely difficult to get out. But the most terrifying, most dangerous, and most devastating test of all is still to come. Number 1 doesn't just fail to prevent cancer, it may actually be creating new cancers inside your body. And you've almost certainly had it done. Number 1. Annual full-body CT scan. This is the single most dangerous screening on our entire list. Marketed as the crown jewel of premium health checkup packages and aggressively promoted by upscale clinics as cutting-edge cancer detection with total peace of mind, full-body CT scans are sold to millions of trusting seniors as the ultimate health safeguard. In reality, it is modern medicine's most harmful deception. Each full-body CT scan exposes your entire body to 10 to 20 millisieverts of ionizing radiation. To put that in perspective, that is equivalent to approximately 500 chest X-rays, all delivered in a single session. One so-called peace of mind screening bombards your body with 500 X-rays worth of radiation at once. A groundbreaking 2023 modeling study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine delivered a staggering finding. The explosive increase in CT scanning across America may now be responsible for up to 5% of all cancers nationwide. That places CT radiation on the same level as alcohol consumption as a cause of cancer. 1 in every 20 cancer patients may have developed their disease directly because of a screening meant to protect them. This is beyond irony. It's a public health crisis hiding in plain sight. The test people trust to keep them healthy may be giving them a deadly disease. And here's the most damning fact. There is zero proven medical benefit of full-body CT scanning for symptom-free adults. Not a shred of evidence that it saves even one life. It only increases your cancer risk with absolute certainty. No benefit, guaranteed harm. What these scans invariably find are harmless cysts, tiny nodules, and other incidental changes that are simply part of normal aging. But the instant they appear on a screen, the medical system's machinery activates. Red flags, additional tests, specialist referrals, and eventually, invasive biopsies and surgeries. An unstoppable cascade of fear and intervention for findings that never would have caused any harm whatsoever. Let me tell you about Mr. Takeda, an 80-year-old man who was remarkably fit. So active, he taught martial arts to people in their 60s. He jogged every morning, ate a plant-centered diet, and was genuinely enjoying life to its fullest. 0 symptoms. His health was exceptional for any age. One day, a friend suggested he try a premium senior elite health screening at an exclusive clinic. Attracted by the promise of discovering hidden diseases with cutting-edge technology, Mr. Takeda agreed. A full-body CT scan was performed. Complete peace of mind, they assured him. The results shattered that peace forever. The scan found a 3-millimeter nodule in his lung, an incredibly tiny spot found in the vast majority of healthy 80-year-olds, almost always completely harmless. But the fear cascade launched immediately. This could be cancer, he was told. Urgent specialist referral. A PET scan, another heavy dose of radiation, came back inconclusive. Then doctors recommended a needle biopsy to be absolutely certain. Consumed by terror, Mr. Takeda consented to everything. A long needle was inserted through his chest wall into his lung tissue. The pathology results came back. Benign, exactly as expected. But the biopsy caused a pneumothorax. The needle had punctured his lung, causing it to partially collapse. Emergency hospitalization, severe breathing difficulties, 2 months in the hospital. His lung eventually healed, but his former vitality was gone forever. No more martial arts, no more morning jogs. The powerful, inspiring man who had motivated others with his incredible fitness was reduced to a shadow of his former self, all because of a scan that should never have been performed on a healthy person. Every major medical organization, the American College of Radiology, the American College of Physicians, and the American Cancer Society, has issued clear statements opposing full-body CT scanning in asymptomatic adults. Their unanimous conclusion? No proven benefit and significant potential for serious harm. If you have specific, concerning symptoms, unexplained weight loss, persistent coughing, visible lumps, then targeted imaging focused on the area of concern makes absolute sense. But scanning an entirely healthy, symptom-free body with unfocused radiation is like searching for treasure in an active minefield. You'll blow yourself up long before you find anything valuable. The wiser approach is simple. Listen to your body. If you feel good and have no clear symptoms, maintain regular checkups with your primary care doctor and only agree to tests backed by genuine medical evidence. Your health is far too precious to gamble on fear-driven screening. Conclusion. Those are the 5 health screenings you should seriously reconsider after the age of 70. Tests that look helpful on the surface, but can unleash devastating harm underneath. Modern medicine has given us extraordinary capabilities, and we should be grateful. But the system isn't perfect, and sometimes the bravest, smartest medical decision is simply choosing not to test. From this day forward, whenever a doctor recommends a screening, ask 3 essential questions. First, if something is found, what happens next? Second, what are the actual risks compared to the benefits? Third, what happens if I choose not to take this test? If the answers are vague, or if the risks clearly outweigh the benefits, you have every right to politely but firmly say no. And please, never forget this truth. Real health and longevity don't come from a testing room. They come from how you live each day. balanced nutrition, joyful movement, quality sleep, stress management, meaningful connections with people you love, activities that give your life purpose. These are the time-tested secrets to a long, healthy life. Not expensive machines and unnecessary procedures. If today's video opened your eyes, please share your experience in the comments. Have you or a loved one suffered complications from unnecessary medical tests? What happened? Your personal stories are incredibly valuable. They could help countless other seniors make safer decisions. I read every single comment and reply personally whenever I can. Hit that like button. It truly makes a difference. Subscribe to Golden Age Glow if you haven't already. And please share this video with someone you love. A parent, a friend, a neighbor. Your one action today could genuinely save someone's life tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you in the next video with more vital information for your health and happiness. Take beautiful care of yourself. You absolutely deserve it.